basically a sponsorship program that sounds like slavery.
They want them to be insecure so they can exploit them. That's exactly what they want. Like all the rich folks out there who have like nannies so they don't have to parent their children, and they got gardeners so they don't have to, garden their fucking estates, which are sprawling. They want undocumented workers because they can just threaten them. If they ever feel like they're getting out of line for any reason, or maybe the richos have a bad day and want to go off on someone, they want to be able to do that consequence-free. They want to live their lives consequence-free. So yeah, that they want undocumented people here. Yeah. They just say they don't because it's a cudgel they can use to like influence the voters who they want to vote the way they want them to vote, because they don't actually fulfill the needs of those people, of poor people in the country.
Right.
But if they can threaten them with cheap labor that's going to take their jobs away from them, then they can get them to vote Republican in the election.
Well, and this was a part of my own research, looking at how media portrays this versus the reality on the ground. We focused on a lot of things, but undocumented people were one of these things when I did with the Romero Theater Troupe, which little self-promotion here, but here on my YouTube channel you can watch the film about it, Unbound: The Story of the Romero Theater Troupe.
That's actually how I met him.
Yeah, that's actually how we met. His wife brought him to a showing, and we were colleagues already. So one thing that we you look at is that you see, okay, they've militarized the border, which is a big cash cow. They've bring in all these people. These corporations hire these people. I mean, I think it was the Hilton. It was one of the downtown hotels, got caught hiring a bunch of undocumented workers, and this is 2004, 2005, and then they just didn't pay them at all. Not paying at all. It's called wage theft.
Yep.
But really,
happens a lot.
But what it really is temporary slavery, right?
Yeah.
And it's actually called new slavery in a lot of the academic literature, because it's temporary servitude where they just throw you up against the legal system if you complain. So they always picked undocumented workers. Yeah. Because then it's beneficial because you can either pay them an extreme low wage or not pay them at all and make a bigger profit. And also hire construction workers. Yeah. And because they were doing renovations at one of the hotels.
Oh, I think it was the Hilton.
Was it the Hilton?
No. Oh, damn, I'm forgetting. It was the Hyatt.
Maybe the Hyatt.
I worked at a hotel at that time. I definitely remember hearing about this.
Yeah, and then on top of that, they have the for-profit prisons, which, by the way, are for-profit because they charge taxpayers money. They make $160 a day a head, not 75 cents, because that's the modern equivalent would be $160. But obviously they were doing this all the way back during the Great Depression. So $160 a day, $60 a day, plus a stipend for food, plus a stipend for medical care. Literally, there was a story. John Oliver covered the for-profit prisons in one of his episodes and talked about how instead of antibiotics, because they didn't want to pay for antibiotics, they were using sugar on wounds to prevent infection. So they cut corners everywhere, so then the for-profit prison stock price go up.
Which just incentivizes them. By the way, ex-cons are another group that are also...
They want high recidivism rates.
Yeah, because if you have a felony on your record, you can be dismissed at any point, and people are just oh, well, you're a felon, and people found out and they got uncomfortable about that. That disproportionately affects native-born people here, just, minority people, black people usually.
Yep. So there's all these systems to essentially make money off of the prison system, off of cheap labor and workers, off of all of this stuff, right? So there's money everywhere to be made off of either undocumented people, stateless people, which are often undocumented, or what we call IDPs, internally displaced peoples, right? Which an example of an internally displaced people would be the Jodes. Yeah. The Jodes are internally displaced. A modern example would be Gaza, Palestinians are internally displaced, right? Yeah. So so the goal is to basically disenfranchise people, make them desperate so that they're fighting one another so that you can continue to grow, maintain your power and profit. And that's what all these app services essentially do. That's what I realized DoorDash was doing to me. It was making me angry at all of these other workers, but a man's got to eat.
A man's gotta eat.
A man's got to eat. So
don't he?
Oh man, it's there's so much.
Yeah.
There's so much to this.